This story comes to us from Alarmed Pilot 5802. I have a Karen as a roommate. I share a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment with someone who gets triggered by the most minor things. She thrives on conflict. I do my best not to cause conflict, but that is nearly impossible with this 38-year-old woman who works from home. For example, she doesn't want me to be in the common area, such as the small outdoor patio, because she told me her stuff is there. She has a lot of stuff, by the way. She has so much stuff, she feels the need to put some of it in the living room and on the patio. She also told me she is a germaphobe. She doesn't want me to touch anything, such as the light switches, doorknobs, refrigerator handle, kitchen sink handle, or if I do, I need to wipe it down because she thinks my hands are gross and sweaty. Okay, whatever. As long as she is paying rent, I can tolerate it. This changed when she became a deadbeat. She said she would pay me sometime last week, but hasn't. She actually needed to pay me on June 1st, but I made the mistake of trusting her. I am a bit frustrated, not only at myself, but at her too. I already submitted paperwork to get her evicted, but the notice gives her 2 weeks. Even then, if she doesn't move out, I will have to get a court order to make her move, and that will take weeks. Today, I decided to sit in the living room. When roommate Karen arrived and saw me sitting near her stuff, she freaked out. She called me out and told me not to sit near her stuff. I asked her when she'll pay me back. She ignored me and walked into her room. Then, 15 to 20 minutes later, she walked out while talking on the phone. I asked her again and she ignored me. She walked around me to go outside to the patio and closed the sliding door behind her. I pretty much just chilled next to her stuff in front of the sliding door. When she came out of the patio, I decided to go out on the patio and close the sliding door behind me. After 20 minutes on the patio, I was dumbfounded that she hadn't tried to argue with me yet. That's when I caught a glimpse of her on the phone on the other side of the sliding glass patio doors, glancing at me and hearing her say, "He's sitting on the floor watching videos on his phone." I didn't think much of it. She was probably telling her friend how triggered she was, which is the reaction I wanted. She should know that I have a right to use this space. 10 minutes later, a female cop opened the sliding door. I was baffled. The cop asked me what was going on. I told her my roommate and I had some conflict on rent, and my roommate was mad that I was sitting on the patio. First, she told me my roommate can take a walk if she is triggered by me sitting on the patio. Second, she asked me if I was going through the legal process of kicking her out. I said yes and showed her the emails. She told me to sit tight, then walked back inside. I heard my roommate talking loudly. I couldn't make out what she was saying. Probably talking about how bad of a roommate I am. After 10 minutes, the same cop returned and told me my roommate was rambling about stuff. I just nodded and told her it doesn't surprise me. She went back inside. After 10 more minutes, the cop came back and told me they couldn't do anything and that this was a civil matter. We were told to avoid and not talk to each other. Then they left. My roommate went to get her blood pressure checked by a paramedic. She later returns to her room to lament. "F you, Karen. I'll be sitting in the common area next to your stuff." Opie added an update down below. It says, "Update, she has been crying in her room for over an hour. I think she was talking to her mom because I suddenly received $956 in my bank account. I wasn't expecting this at all." Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Yersinia Piss Test. It says, "Nope, thanks for finally paying what you owe, but this isn't working. You're incapable of sharing space, and I'm not going to continue to pretend your behavior is normal. You will have to find somewhere else to live by this date." This story comes to us from Nopertons. Karen asks if anyone else on the wait list is as entitled as her. I work at a vet clinic. Since COVID, when people adopted loads of pets, app wait times have exploded industry-wise. My clinic also has the distinction of being one of the only practices that sees exotic pets. Anything not cat or dog, like birds, reptiles, and rodents, within a 60-mile radius. So our appointment wait time reflects that level of demand. Some of our clients who have been with us since before the new millennium haven't been able to get used to the new wait times, and things were just starting to get a bit better in the last few months. But then, as summer got closer, everyone wanted to get dog and cat vaccines updated so they can board and travel with pets for vacation. This interaction happened last week. Thank you for calling Clinic. How may I help you? I need to get my dog in for vaccines. I'm leaving the state next week and need the certificate to cross state lines. Look up her account. Our vaccine appointments are actually out about 3 weeks right now, but lucky for you, your dog also needs an annual exam with the doctor. Exam appointments are only out a little over a week, and we can do vaccines at the same time. What day are you leaving? Wednesday morning. Oh, I don't have anything till Friday. It takes all of 3 seconds to inject my dog with the vaccine. Can't you just do it? Ma'am, your dog also needs an annual checkup with the vet, which is a full physical that we legally have to do in order to administer vaccines. Also, we have a wait list right now for cancellations, so there's about 20 people all waiting for appointments for simple injections. Are all those people going out of state on Wednesday? Ma'am, we all have our own personal emergencies and needs and life stories. I can tell you most of the patients on our wait list are suffering horrible seasonal allergies and need a shot to stop scratching themselves bleeding. We just have limited time and staff to get everyone in. Does coworker still work there? She does. She just got off shift right now. Coworker would not have pulled Karen any strings, which I knew, but she confirmed for me when I told her about it the next day. And what about name of someone who has never worked here? No one has ever been here by that name. No, I know it was that name. She had reddish hair. Ma'am, I'm the only redhead who works here. Do you mean my name, which could be close to what she said if her memory was bad? No, definitely not. I just wanted to see how much turnover there had been since last time I was there. Oh well, put me on the cancellation list. I'm sure other clinic will act like they actually want my business though, so don't be surprised if you get a request to transfer my records. Me, knowing we never call waitlist people unless they're on the schedule for a future appointment, but Karen's already hanging up. Okay, bye. We are consistently overbooked to the point of having to stop taking new clients for about 6 months. We're fine weeding out the Karens from our client roster. Also, I'm still convinced she was remembering me as a nice employee before and just getting my name wrong, which I find hilarious. You're totally right, Karen. This place has definitely gone downhill ever since they replaced me with me. Jumping down to the comment section, there's one from a user called Accomplished Ad 3219. It says, I love when they mistake you. I used to have brown hair, went back to blonde. One day I was helping a customer who said, you're so much nicer than that other, my name, who worked here. Did you know her, the brunette? Me? No, never knew her. This story comes to us from Pandapon. Male Karen calls cops for smoking in my car on my own street. This happened last night. I was smoking a cigarette in the car. I can't smoke on my landlord's property, so I pulled into street parking 100 feet away from the house. I wasn't directly in front of any homes, but across the street from them. My partner, who happens to be a black man, walked from our home to the car, and a white man who was jogging stopped and just stared at us. My partner noticed and was wondering why he was checking us out so hard. He left and we continued about our business. I packed my bowl for a quick hit before I go back into my house. Unfortunately, bad timing. The jogger came back and asked what we were doing. He said he lives 2 houses down. I tell him I live here and can't smoke in my home or driveway. He says I should move to the dog park down the street, but I know that park is closed that time of day and I wasn't doing anything wrong. I've been doing this for 8 months without an issue until now. He leaves and I continue to mind my own business until I see he's back outside staring at us. And this time, he's taking photos of our car. I put away my weed and light another cigarette. Moments later, 2 police cars pull up behind me and come to both windows, saying someone called in about people in a suspicious car involving drugs. I explained the same story. I live here and can't smoke in my home, so I'm parked in a public spot. They asked for proof of my residency and I consented. They said there's no reason I couldn't be there and left. I don't know why this guy was tripping so hard. Opie added an edit at the bottom. It says, just to be clear, if the guy was tripping before I even pulled out weed, I didn't drive home after smoking the weed. My partner drove home. Either way, I can see my door from where I parked, and it would only take me 45 seconds to walk there for those concerned about DUIs. In my state, recreational sales aren't legalized yet, medical sales are legal, and it's decriminalized to possess up to a certain amount. Opie added on one more edit. It says, in my state, marijuana smell is not probable cause for a stop, search, or seizure unless you're at an airport or driving a commercial vehicle. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called IT Staff. It says, tell the cop you saw a guy walking by multiple times, apparently casing the houses and taking photos from behind the wall. This is the guy you think they were called about. You thought it was suspicious that a jogger had what you thought was a crowbar. This story comes to us from Tommytronics. Finally had a nasty Karen waste my time. Since I am deaf, I rarely have to deal with annoying Karens because I rely on American Sign Language as an anti-Karen trick. But today, one went out of her way to get police involved. To start, I borrowed my dad's minivan. He has a handicap plate, but since I don't have a handicap, deaf doesn't qualify for handicap parking, I park in normal spots instead. My dad was not with me today, so there's another reason not to park there. When I stopped at a Walmart store for a quick shopping, I found an empty spot next to a handicap spot, very close to the doors. I had just gotten out when a Karen stopped behind my minivan and started yelling at me. I couldn't understand what she was saying and used my anti-Karen trick, ASL. I signed, I can't understand you, but she kept yelling at me and pointing at the van. I ignored her and went into the store. I came out about 15 minutes later to see her still blocking my minivan and a police car coming in. Thankfully for Officer Smiley, not real name, he seemed to be smiling a lot even with crappy Karen and 90 Fahrenheit heat. He can use his lips well, so I was able to understand him without needing ASL or a deaf interpreter. It's when I found out she called because I illegally parked in a non-handicapped spot. I'm like, the F? I explained the minivan belonged to my dad, who does use handicapped spots, but since he was not with me and I do not need a handicapped spot, technically I'm not supposed to use the handicapped spot and parked in a normal spot. Karen's reasoning was I had to use handicap spot because of handicap plate, and it was illegal for car with handicap plate to park in non-handicapped spot. Officer Smiley thought she was just mad because I had a great non-handicapped spot in otherwise crowded parking lot, and she didn't want to walk halfway across the lot in this heat. She was hoping I'd move like she demanded, and her mind broke because I didn't move. I was free to go and I saw Officer Smiley hand her a ticket. I guess for misuse of 911 service. I still had to wait for her to move her car so I could go home and type this up. If you're the woman with dark-colored pixie cut hair driving a silver Camry who called the police on a deaf person in Walmart parking lot today, F you. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Surly Buddha. It says, LOL. I have a disabled placard. The F am I supposed to do when all the handicap spots are full? Go home?